Bootcamp is about to begin. Rise up, it's time to log in. LP Army will teach you the way to be LP warrior starting today. We live for the fees we make. Soon it is profits that you will take. The LP Army marches strong. The best in soul and now we sing our song. We live for the fees we make. Soon it is profits that you will take. The LP Army marches strong. The best in soul and now we sing our song. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic fees, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Arrow bow we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Spot, could ask, use them all. Winning's the task, we heed the call. Bootcamp, join our ranks so tight. Listen to the Goose Gang and gain your might. We will praise and we will earn. Once you gain as tokens burn. Join the ranks of the brave and bold. Story of the LP Army told. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic fees, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Arrow bow we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Rise. Take the course and earn your role. March with us and earn some soul. Dodge the rug and join the fight. We gain together LP Army might. Make your position and join the pool. Post your wins with Alex's tool. LP Army, we fight to win. Your journey is about to begin. We are LP Army, rise to the sky. Dynamic fees, our battle cry. LP warriors will never die. Arrow bow we will fly. Rise, new soldiers, rise. Take the course and earn your role. March with us and earn some soul. Dodge the run and join the fight. We gain together LP Army might. Oh.
GMET. Welcome, everybody. Let me just change and start presenting here. Oh, should I have that ready? But there we go. All right, GMET, welcome to the Meteora LP Army Bootcamp here in METOBER. This is our 20th English Bootcamp. I'm so glad to have you guys all join us today. We're going to crack right into this. The goal here is to help you up your LP game. We're going to start very close to the beginning. This course is for all, from the beginner to the more advanced. So we're going to go over the basics before we can really get deep in this. If you're here, we're already assuming you have some small grasp of the words market maker and DeFi, and you should already know what it means to trade crypto on the market. These are our prerequisites. You'll need a Solana compatible wallet funded with some SOL. We recommend that you start with at least one SOL, but it can be less. That's okay. And you should already know how to trade on Jupiter. So yeah. And this is our disclaimer. The instructors are not financial advisors. This should not be construed as financial advice. Any money you put in, you do so at your own risk, and you should not risk any money that you cannot afford to lose. The TLDR is NFA DYOR. Okay, I am your instructor and heavy metal cook. The Bootcamp mod, one of the 3 LP Army leads. That's me. That's what I do. And I am also joined by some other instructors here today. We've got 2 of the Bootcamp OGs, Otto and Geeklad, as well as Photon Magic. We may have some other guys joining us today, but these guys are here to help out with your questions and whatnot. So thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. So the chat is here for you to ask your questions. We want to answer everything that we can. We may answer some live, but just ask your question, keep it to the point, and we will do our best to answer everything. Try to follow along. Try and do as we can. You're not required to do everything we can, but practice makes perfect. Yeah. And if you're looking to actually graduate this course, you need to complete both days of this bootcamp. There's a test and a graduation task. If you already have the bootcamp trainee role in the Meteora Discord from a previous bootcamp, you don't yet have private, you don't have to do the test for day 1. But if you don't have that, you need to do both days. And I am always open to suggestions. If you have feedback on how we can make this better, please share that with us in the Discord. I love that feedback, and I try and incorporate things to make this course better for you guys. Okay, so now starting off with some resources. This QR code, and if you're on a PC, you can use Google Lens to scan it, but this is some additional reading. There's a lot of extra tools. We will share this QR code again later, but there's a lot of information in these bootcamp resources. So scan that, bookmark it. Yeah, a lot of great stuff there. And we'll give just a few seconds to give you guys a chance to scan that. I think Photon Magic is having internet problems today. I'm sure he'll be back. I see Jupe and Juice is in the house today. What's up, guys? A few legends here, man. A lot of legends in the chat today. So welcome all of you. All right, we're going to move on here. We're going to talk about
one big happy family nowadays.
Yeah, right. That's how it should be. Okay, so here's some key DeFi terms. I'm not going to go through each and every one of these. This information is also in the bootcamp resources. But the things that I really want to focus on are the stuff on the right, the TVL. You should know what total value locked is. It can mean several different things. Value of assets in a pool, a whole protocol or blockchain. It's often represented in US dollars. The volume. Volume is, and you'll hear me say this more than once, volume is king. It's the amount of trading given over a given period of time. It's usually represented in USD or SOL over the last 24 hours. Volatility, this is also a very key term. It's how much, it's a measure of how much a token is going up and down in price over a given time frame. Market cap, NC, M cap, very important. And of course, price impact. So anyway, like I said, I'm not going to go through all of these. If you're not familiar with all of these things, please read the Bootcamp resources. Okay, so we're going to move on now to a big definition here, the CLMM, Concentrated Liquidity Market Maker. Because a traditional automated market maker is not very efficient, and these are much more efficient. It allows you to focus your liquidity into a specific price range to be more capital efficient. Uniswap on the Ethereum chain was the first to introduce this. If you're familiar with Radium or Orca, they operate some CLMMs. And here's a visual representation of that. Your standard AMM, we can see here, we've got a price of 0 to infinity, and the liquidity is spread out amongst all of that. So even though if the price trading action is just happening between $30 and $35, only this piece of your liquidity is getting used for those swaps, and you're only earning fees off of that. Things out on the fringes, not so much. So the CLMM, it helps to solve that problem. You can focus the majority of your liquidity right there, so you're maximizing your capital efficiency. Maybe you've got a little bit on the outside in case of price swing, but that is basically what a CLMM is and does. So now we're going to talk about some AMMs as well as our vaults. So I'm going to switch gears here and share a different screen. Let's go with this one right here. Okay, so starting at the home page, it's actually app.meteora.ag. And from here, the first thing that I want to show you is the dynamic vaults. So I'm going to more and to vaults. I'm only going to talk about this for a moment. I don't actually recommend that you deposit money into here, but this is where money is used. It can earn lending yield. It's a pretty safe place to put money. You could probably earn more somewhere else, but it's pretty safe, and it's used against these other protocols such as Camino and Save. But like I say, you won't earn any MET points if you deposit into this, but I'm going to show you guys why this is important here in a moment. I'm going to go to pools and then the DAM V1. This is also known as the dynamic pools or dynamic automated market maker version 1. This is not concentrated liquidity. So a few things that we're going to go over here on the main page. You will see token pairs. You will see the type of pool. It's volatile, dynamic, LST. That's a liquid staking token pair. You can find stables, all kinds of things there. If you see something with this little Meteora icon on it, it means that pool was created by the Meteora team. You can sort by the TVL, 24-hour volume, or the 365-day yield over TVL. So I'm just going to pick this one, this stable one created by Meteora. We'll see our total value locked, the allocation of the 2 tokens in this pool, which is not 50-50. It is whatever token ratio that it needs to be at that moment. It all depends on the trading, what's going in, what's going out. You'll see the Jupiter score right here. And then on each one, if you click right here, you can copy the contract address, do reg checks or bubble maps. You can even look it on SoulScan. We're going to talk more about this later on. Here you'll see the current pool price, the virtual price, which is a complicated topic. We are not going to go deep into that. If you want to know more about what the virtual price is, how it works, check out the Meteora documentation. There's links in the Bootcamp resources. What you do need to know is that if it's above 1, that's good. Next, we have the 24-hour volume. So this is the dollar amount of trades that have come through this pool in the last 24 hours. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the 24-hour fee. So this is how much in fees this pool has generated for the liquidity providers in the last 24 hours. But we also see something called the 24-hour yield, and that's a different number. So what that is in the DAM V1, if it has any tokens that are also found in the dynamic vaults, which I just showed you, some of this money is used there, and so you are earning yield off of that lending. So you're getting fees and yield off of this. Next, you'll see the liquidity provider fee. This is the amount charged on every trade. That's how much you're getting. That's your percentage of what you're getting. A lot of pools have a protocol fee. This one doesn't. If it was created by Meteora, there is no protocol fee on the pool. I'll show you more about that here in a second. Also, finally, the AMP, again, like the virtual price, it's a complicated topic. If you want to read more about the AMP, go and read the Meteora documentation. Okay, so now we are looking at how you deposit, and it's very simple. You have two choices. You can do a balanced deposit, which is recommended. If you uncheck that, it's going to give you a little warning that they recommend that, because what it's going to do is it's going to, if you only put in one of the tokens, it's going to automatically swap that so that it matches whatever the ratio of these tokens are. And I will give you guys an example. We'll just wreck a little bit of, tiny bit of soul. You don't have to follow along with this, but you can if you want. I'm going to deposit that. And it went through. So we can see I have $19.40 deposited into this pool. If I go to withdraw, I'm going to click here, and you will see that my 0.1 soul got turned into 0.03 soul and 0.05 blah, 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 judo soul. So it automatically swapped that for me. So again, that may be a reason why you want to, go ahead and just buy the token and deposit it that way. Now, all the fees and yield that you earn in the DAM V1 are automatically compounded back into the pool. They are not claimable separately. It's just put right back in. And the only way you can know if you're up or down, if you're ahead or down, is to know how much you had deposited versus how much you can withdraw. So you kind of have to do that math yourself. There is a swap function on the pools. This trades only within that pool. It only does a swap within this pool. We do recommend that you use Jupiter, however, to ensure that you're getting the best price. There is a very handy in the bottom left-hand corner, a integrated Jupe swap. Of course, I love Jupe Mobile. I'll use that, but use whatever works for you. Here we have this one option to change slippage for that. That's just for doing this swap here. Again, not really recommended, but yeah, I'm going to go to a different pool here. and find the USDC, USDT, same kind of thing. You'll see no protocol fee on this. Both of these tokens are earning yield on top of fees. Now let's get into one that's not like that. Let's go into this Sol Zero, some kind of meme coin, I guess. It's got a couple warnings on it. This is from RugCheck, just telling you a couple warnings, but this here is just saying that it's not yet verified and low organic activity. Now you will see here that there actually is a protocol fee, and that protocol fee is 20% of the LP fee. So you can see that it's a 1% fee pool. So that protocol fee, that's what Meteora takes. It's 0.2%. So this is the big difference between the two. Also, one thing this wasn't on the others, but there is a burn option. This is for permanently locking liquidity. It's really only used by token creators. Don't do that. If you permanently lock your liquidity, the only thing that you can ever do is claim fees. So please don't do that. You don't need to do that. Okay. So let's go back. And I think that I probably covered enough about the DAM v1. Now we're going to talk about the DAM v2. So this is the new iteration, and it's got several differences between this and the DAM v1. I'm going to start with the top. You'll notice here before on the DAM v1, whenever you come here, there's not multiple pools for the same pairs, right? So you can only have one DAM v1 for each individual pair. Whereas the DAM v2, there can be multiple ones. I'm going to look at the Sol USDC, and you'll see there's several pools. A lot of them are empty or near empty. They are not very good pools. We'll see at the top here, there's actually a couple pools that have a price range, and that means that this liquidity actually is a little bit concentrated. The ones that don't have that listed, that liquidity is not concentrated. It's basically 0 to infinity. Let's go and look at this very first one here. We can see that it's got over $8 million in TVL and over $68 million of 24-hour volume. So it is definitely capturing some volume here today. Okay. Like the DAM v1, it's not going to be 50-50. It's going to be whatever ratio the pool is. 24-hour volume, 24-hour fee. You'll notice here that it does not list 24-hour yield. That is because the DAM v2 does not use the dynamic vaults. So you will only be earning fees off of this. You've got your base fee. And then here you'll see dynamic fee, and this one's actually set to no. This particular pool does not use dynamic fees. We're going to talk about dynamic fees more in a bit, but just know that this one does not have that enabled. So the fee on this pool will always be 0.04%. We see the price range up here. If the price of Sol USDC, as long as it stays within this range here, $70 to $440, it will be in range. If it moves outside of that, then this pool stops earning fees. And then another thing here, the fee collection token, it's giving it to you in both the base and the quote token. We have pool charts, all that stuff. Now, with the DAM v2, you must make a balance deposit. It will not auto swap. So you must have both tokens. And I'm going to do a swap here, just a little bit, 0.05 Sol, get myself just a little bit of USDC, and close, and there we go. So now I'm ready to deposit. I am going to hit, I'm going to hit max, but you'll notice next to that you have another little button. Usually defaults to 50%. There is a little thing here that you can click that you can change this to whichever amount that you would actually like to use. So let's say that you only wanted to put in 10% of your USDC. You can hit that, press it, it already does the math for you, and there you go. Okay. So I'm going to hit max anyway to go back and make my deposit. And that failed. If you are having trouble depositing into the damn V2, you might try changing this to say 99%. Let's see if it goes through here. Sometimes you may shave some numbers off the end of that. And it made a deposit. So we can see here, now I have my position value of 1769, and I've already earned some fees on this. So here's another big difference between the DAM V1 and the DAM V2 is the fees are claimable separately. They are not automatically compounded back into the pool. So you can claim them at any time directly to your wallet and then do whatever you want with it. Withdrawing is very simple, just like that. Withdraw however much or percentage that you'd like. It still has the same swap and lock functions as the DAM V1. Here's also another key difference between the DAM V1 and the DAM V2. When you deposit into the DAM V1, you will receive what's called an LP token in your wallet. That is your receipt. That's the representation of your position within that pool. Don't burn it. Don't get rid of it, or you lose your money. The DAM V2 does not use an LP token. It issues an NFT. So you don't want to burn that either, but that's what represents your thing. It'll have the little Meteora logo, and it'll say do not burn on it. So make sure that you don't do that. So now I'm going to show you, because there's a lot of differences in DAM V2 pools. So let's find some of those differences. Let's see, let's go into this one. There's nothing in it, but it's got some important differences that I wanted to highlight for you guys. We can see here that this does have dynamic fees. Dynamic fees are based off of volatility. So the more volatile the token is, the higher the dynamic fee can go. This one, it's currently at 1.1999. There's not really anything happening here because it's at 0. Protocol fee, again, 20%. The liquidity provider fee. And then here, the fee collection token is only in the quote token. And this is a really cool thing, especially if you're doing things with, say, a Sol meme pair or Sol USDC pair. You may only want the fees. You may only want to keep one of those tokens, such as Sol USDC. So this is a cool thing. It'll give you only those fees in that token. This thing also has something called the fee scheduler. There's 2 or 3 types, really. There's linear, exponential, and then there's kind of custom ones. But the linear here, this actually starts out when this pool is first created. It's at 50%, the fee. And over time, that's going to reduce down to whatever the base fee should be. And the reasoning behind this is, you know, it's particularly with memes, whenever they first launch, that's when snipers are getting in there. You'll see MEV or sandwich attacks. And this is a way to make them pay. If you're going to snipe, we're going to make you pay to snipe. And so you can really get a lot of delicious fees in the very beginning off of that. So that's what this does. And over time, as you know, kind of snipers go away, it comes down to a reasonable amount for the retail users. All right, let me see if I can find a one with, no, that one's still linear. I forgot where I kept that other one. Let's see if we can find one with, nope. Here we got quote token only and sold, no dynamic fee. I'm looking for the different type here. Linear. I had this and I forgot where I put it. Exponential. Okay, so here's another type of fee scheduler. The exponential, you'll see here it started out at 50% and then it drops down to this lower fee, but it does so at a exponential or faster rate over time. And that's just the difference. There's a lot of different things that you can see, and these can actually be programmed with custom curves. That's done programmatically. You don't do that through the UI, but that is that. I think I covered all that I wanted to say there, although I did have something else to show you guys. Let me just change gears. I see that guys, everything going okay on the questions? Anything I need to know about? I see Chief joined us. Welcome, sir.
GMET.
GMET. All right. So let me share the screen that I wanted to share.
Yeah, we're good on questions.
Sweet. Okay. So here's some tools for the DMV2. Like I was talking about earlier, when you're doing memes, the name of the game is to be quick. You really want to capture that sniper and MEV volume if you can, but it's also used for launches. And I know of a launch that's coming up here, October 23rd. It's called MET. You might have heard of it, but that's coming up. And I'm going to talk very specifically about that here in just a second.
Oh,
yeah.
Alpha drop
Yeah,
possibilities here.
Yeah. So here's ways to find opportunities to do it. Number one, I like the LP Army Discord. In the LP Army Discord, there is the DGen DAM chat. You can get in there. Guys are talking about it all the time. You know, oh, this one's running, this one's going. Strategies, whatever, good pools. You can find that there. Another tool is called Rocket Scan, and I'm going to show that one right now. So bear with me a second here. RocketScan.fun. Boom. Rocket Scan. Everybody see that okay?
Yeah.
All right. So Rocket Scan is, you can track Meteora pools here. And then there's a token discovery tool here. We'll click on discover tokens. And this is all like fresh stuff that's just popping out. I love they have a TGE countdown here. That's so awesome. We can change some filters here to see. You can choose from specific launch pads. Like if you only want to check out what's coming out of Bonk or Pump, you can do that. Or you can show me everything. I'm not going to go into all of this, but you can, it's kind of self-explanatory of what's going on here, what you can filter out for. Right now, there's only one popping up that we see. And if you hover over this, it will pause these updates. Otherwise, it's auto-refreshing this every 5 seconds. There's a link to charting tools. You can see what its market cap is, how much liquidity is out there. And you can even click this handy little button here. Say, is there any pools for this yet? No? Okay. Well, there's a link to creating one, but we're not going to cover creating damn V2 pools. But you can search for stuff here. Usually whenever I do this, there's a lot more going on. There just must not be very much happening right now, but Rocket Scan is a very good tool. The next thing that we're going to check on is jupe.ag Pro. And we wait for it to load. Okay, so what I like to do with this is I want to see top traded, last 5 minutes, and then percent change, right? And you can change that to go either direction. Like if it's in red, it's dumping. If it's in green, it's pumping. So here you can see what's going on. This may give you an idea of something that maybe you want to dam. Obviously, some of these are not new at all. This one here, Tofu, is 2 hours old. So you can check that one out, see if that's one, see if there's a pool, go do it. Excuse me. So this is just something else. There's another tool called Axiom, which I'm not going to pull up, but that's another way that you can search for tokens. And we even have a tool that I'm going to explain more about tomorrow called metlex.io that you can also use to help find some of these things. It's very similar to this right here, but this is just a way for to find opportunities, if you will. Okay. And so let me move back to the presentation.
Oh, heavy metal.
Yep.
I put a little Meteora position NFT in the logos. I'm just going to throw it up there real quick and maybe move it over to the right. So that's what it looks like here on the top right.
Yep. Thank you, Otto.
If anyone's curious, that's what it looked like in your wallet under NFTs. Yeah.
Correct. Yep. That's what it's going to look like if you, so yeah, not Metlinks, it's Metlex. I'm going to put it in the chat. Metlex.io. We will show you guys all that in great detail. It's also linked in every single pool of every pool type. There's a link to it in every single one of them. So anyway, moving on. All right, so we're talking, I know a lot of you guys are here wanting to know if you're a Jupe staker, the TGE. If you're a Jupe staker, it's going to automatically drop as a damn V2 position. You'll get the NFT. It's going to come in automatically. It's going to be a one-sided position. Now, I know that I said earlier that you have to do a balanced deposit, right? Well, there is a way to do a one-sided position programmatically, not through the UI, but on the back end, you can do one-sided. So you're going to have one-sided. It's just going to be MET. It's going to be a MET USDC pool. Okay. The base fee on that is going to be 1%. The dynamic fee will go up to 2%. So if it's really volatile, it can go anywhere between 1 and 2%. You will earn fees only in USDC. So that's going to be the quote token. And so you'll get fees only in that. There will be a custom fee scheduler. It's going to start at 50% and go down to that 1% base fee after only 3 minutes. It's not going to take a long time like others do. And you can, of course, withdraw this position at any time. And I did not put it on the thing, and someone actually told me to, and I totally forgot to do it. There will be a defined range on this pool. It's going to start at 500 million market cap, and between that and 7.5 billion market cap. So that'll be the range. If the price moves above or below that, then it will stop earning fees. But that is the skinny on the DAM V2 for TGE that's coming up. And I am not going to go into, like, this is not about snapshots, and I'm not going to go deep into TGA, but I really wanted to cover this, especially because we have so many new people coming from Jupe who wanted to understand a little bit about this. So, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to talk about one of the flagship products, the DLMM, Meteora's Dynamic Liquidity Market Maker. It's got some advantages over a CLMM, and some of those is, the biggest thing is that you can shape your liquidity. You can see here that is not a flat token distribution there on the chart. That is what it looks like. There's zero slippage if any trades happen within the same bin. We're going to talk about bins in a minute. There's no slippage on those trades, which makes it attractive to swappers. You can employ different strategies, dynamic fees. You can do single-sided liquidity deployment. It's really the new thing. So what's a bin? A bin, simply put, is a container in which holds liquidity. Okay, a bin can contain one type of token, two types of tokens, or no tokens at all. And we can see that on this chart here. Only the active bin, which is wherever the current price is, can hold both tokens. All other bins above and below that price can only hold one of the two tokens. Here's a real world example of that. We have WBTC and CBBTC. Several bins here. This is the current one, so it's got a little bit of CBBTC and a lot of WBTC. Now, what's going to happen here is, before this can move from this bin to this bin, all of this must be sold before it'll move to here. Conversely, if all of the WBTC gets sold, then it can move down, but not until then. So any trades that continue to happen through here, no slippage, and that's a good thing for the swapper. Okay, now you'll see this, and I know this is in white and it's not how it actually looks today, but it's basically the same. We have this representation of your liquidity in the pool, and below that you'll see some gray bars, which is your liquidity plus everybody else's who is also in the pool. Now, you don't own bins. They're created on the blockchain. They exist forever once they're created. You don't own them. You share them with everybody else, and they don't move. They stay where they are, even if there's no tokens in them. Okay, so now we're going to talk about what is a bin step. Simply put, it's the difference in price between two bins. It's based off of basis points. So here we've got an example of a one bin step pool. That means 1 basis point, or 0.0001. Okay. If you want to calculate, do the fun math of the difference between the current price and the next bin. We do a very simple math calculation. We add the number 1 and the basis points, multiply, and you get the next bin price. If you want to go down, you just use division. And that's it. Here's an example of a 50 bin step. So we see here this price of SOL per IO. It's this price right here. We multiply by 1, and the basis points, which 50 bin step is 0.005, and then we get the next bid price. Okay. All right. So this is an easy pattern, and guys, this is important. Please pay attention to this. It's also in the Bootcamp resources. But you can see here, this is just an example of some of the different types of bin steps. So it's really easy to work out that pattern. Here's a visual representation of bin steps, the difference. A large one, like this one here, we've got a price of 169 to 169.25. Here we have a large bin step. It's only requiring 2 bins to cover this much difference in price. And then a smaller bin step is using 8 bins. There's pros and cons to using large bin steps and small bin steps, and we're going to get more into that here in a bit. But the smaller the bin step, the more of them that you need to cover, say, a wide price range or any price range. Okay, and they're also limited to very specific base fees, like a 0.01 base fee pool can only have these bin steps right here, and so on and so forth. This is not all, this is just some. It's just to give you an idea. Generally speaking, the higher the base fee, the higher the bin step. There are some newer exceptions. The 20 bin step pools were given the 5% base fee, and so on and so forth. What's not possible is a 1 bin step and 5 base fee or 10% base fee. That's not possible. But again, this is just kind of like give you an idea, help you understand what it is. Generally bigger bin step, generally larger fee. Okay, so we see here lower bin steps and fee generation events. Okay, so in the lower bin step pools, you will get more fee events as the price moves, right? So a lot has to change in order for this large bin step to go to the next price, and that's a fee event. These lower ones, more can happen within that time, and that can trigger more in the dynamic fees. It's not the same. You can have 2 tokens, same 2 tokens, but not the same dynamic fee across all of those various pools, because there's a lot of things that matter on that, and a low bin step can have an impact on that. Okay, the biggest thing takeaway that I want you to remember here is volatility is what triggers dynamic fees. Remember that. Okay, so basic strategy time, guys. There's 3 basic types. We have spot, which is, this is an even distribution. This is just like a CLMM. It's all the same across the flat. Spot works for pretty much anything. If you're unsure what to choose, you can always use spot. It does work. Curve, this might be the least used of the 3. It's a great way to really maximize your liquidity into a specific point. And it's mostly used on stable coins. So if you think, say, the price action is all going to stay right about here, then you may want to focus most of your liquidity there. Now we've got a little bit out here on the outside that if that price swings, you're still in range, you're still making money. But keep in mind, like if the price is over here, you don't have very much of your tokens here, so you're not earning a whole lot in fees. I'm going to talk here in a bit about what you can do about that. The next is the bid ask. This is a classic and favorite of many people. It's just kind of really the reverse of the curve. Well, one thing that I want you to think about with the bid ask is, just like in trading, we want to buy low and sell high, right? So as the price goes down, you're buying more of the tokens at a lower price. And as the price goes up, you're selling more of the tokens at a higher price, right? So it's also a great way to, if you're trying to sell out of a token, you can just go one-sided, put in just that token and sell the token as it goes up and earn fees along the way. Now, we talk about stacking strategies. This is something that you can do and it can add a lot to it. Here's two very basic stacking strategies, the spot and the curve. If you remember a moment ago when I was talking about when the price swings out here to the outside, very little liquidity, so you're not earning much in fees. If you add a base layer of spot in there, then as that price swings, you're still getting some fee generation. You're still maximizing more of your liquidity here, but again, you'll capture more fees out here on these swings. Same with the bid ask, because when it's down here in the valley, you're not getting very much. This base layer of spot allows you to still earn some more fees. It's not always the thing to do, but it is a thing that you can do. You can mix and match these in any way that you wish. You can make a lot of funky shapes with this. But I want to touch on this really quick. This is an important thing that you should all know. There's a difference between a pool and a position. That pool is 2 tokens, specific bin step and base fee, and it contains all the liquidity that everybody's deposited into that pool. Once a pool is created, it can't be closed. It can't be destroyed. It's not yours. It belongs to the world. It exists forever on the Solana blockchain. Your position is your specific liquidity deposited into that pool. Only exists when you deposit, and whenever you withdraw completely from the pool, then that position is destroyed. You can have as many positions as you'd like in a pool. If you want to create 1, if you want to create 10, you can totally do it. Okay, so here's the goal.
Sorry, every minute cook. We've just got a good question here. Does
Yeah.
stacking strategy mean opening 2 positions?
No, it does not. And I will demonstrate that. Stacking strategy is all within the same position. If yeah, it's totally different. 2 separate positions. They're not even related to each other. The stacking strategy is a single position. Okay, so the goals for the DLM, you're basically swapping for people, and excuse me, you're earning fees along the way. It doesn't automatically rebalance for you. There's 2 ways to earn profit here. Achieve a positive return from the fees you've earned, or positive, what we call positive divergent loss. Okay, it's basically token pumping up out of range. Here's if you ever Google divergent loss or impermanent loss, it's 2 ways to say the same thing. You'll usually see this really fun chart, and it involves a bunch of math that has Greek letters in it. But it's basically you're putting 2 assets into a pool, or 1 asset. Will they be swapped? And the likelihood of getting out at the same place where you entered is unlikely. And that impermanent loss is basically a divergence in price between the 2 tokens from where you started. And here's kind of a visual representation of that. So I've got this position here, Sol Uranus. Here's where I started, and then the price went down a little bit. It's diverged from the entry, so I'm in a bit of a negative impermanent loss here. Now I'm going to stop sharing and allow Geek Lad to share a tool with you guys. You ready? You're on mute.
All right, you hear me now?
Yep. Zoom in just a little bit.
Yeah, let me turn off my camera because this machine's kind of old. All right, how's that zoom there?
Yep.
All right, so I created this Meteora DLMM position simulator to kind of, it's a great tool for you to learn how divergence loss or impermanent loss is going to affect your position. So let's just do a sample here. Let's say we're in a 10 bin step pool. Say we're doing Solana USDC, right? And we're going to go in a range, say down to 180 and up to like 222.22. And we're going to go spot. We're going to do it even, right? So we're going to go 50-50, same amount on each side. So our base token, that's Solana or Sol. We're going to put 0.5 Sol. And then we're going to put 100 USDC, and we'll say that Solana's trading at 200. So this is what your position is going to look like, right? 50-50. And down here, you can see the position analysis. It tells you, all right, our position value, and this is in the quote token. Our quote token in this case is USDC. And the price hasn't changed, right? So what we can do is we can move this slider. And what happens as the price moves up, the impermanent loss is that you're losing the SOL, right? Because the SOL that you had before has turned into USDC. So you can see if the price goes up to 203.25, we now have 0.41981 Solana, right? So your impermanent loss was that you lost about 0.08 Solana. And then if we move the slider all the way out so that we go just to the edge of the range, you can see what happens, right? So your total position value goes to 205 USDC. We've achieved full impermanent loss. We've lost all of our Solana because we swapped it out basically through the pool, swapped it out to all USDC. Now what happens if it goes all the way down on the other end? Now our impermanent loss is we've lost our USDC, right? But we've gained some SOL, right? So now we have 1.0277 SOL and 0 USDC. So it's really cool. You can, you know, kind of see what's going to happen in different scenarios. And you can also do like one-sided positions. So like for instance, say Solana's trading at 200 and we're going to go in a range from 200, right, from the current price down to 180, and we're gonna put in 0 base and 100 quote. So this is what happens if you go one-sided with USDC only. So we're starting with 100 USDC, and let's see how much SOL we accumulate. So right now at 200, right, with $100 we can buy half a SOL. But if the price of SOL goes all the way down to 180, you end up buying 0.5371 SOL. So we could have bought half a SOL at 200, but because the price went down to 180, we got 0.5371 SOL.
170.
And then,
no.
Yeah, sorry. And you know, you can see how that one-sided position would look if we did a spot. If we did a spot, we would get 0.52769. If we did a curve, we get the least, right? 0.51829. So I highly recommend, if you're a beginner, to take a look at this tool. It's available at geeklad.github.io/meteora-dlmm-position-simulator. URL doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, but but it's there. I believe HMC, you've got it in the Bootcamp materials, right?
Yes, that's in the Bootcamp resources, and the QR code to the Bootcamp resources is on screen now.
Right. So So yeah, take a look at this. And if you're, if you're wondering what's going to happen to your position, what could possibly happen to a potential position, it's a really great tool to use. So
Cool. Thank you, sir.
thank you.
All right. So going back.
Geeklet, I
So-
think somebody, Shay asked if you can add fees to it. And I don't know if you have plans to, but basically the intent right now is just for it to be for beginners and not complicate it with additional configurable options. But maybe you can put that in your list of potential additions.
Yeah. The thing with fees is that it really all depends on what the price action looks like, right? And how much volume is going to go through it. So really difficult to do that because it's totally random. It really is just intended to show you how much impermanent loss, potential position will have.
Super intuitive. Very cool.
Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. So we were talking earlier, you like 2 ways to win from the DLMM. Number one, positive return from fees. So you have to, first of all, overcome any impermanent losses before you can profit. And that is done through fees. You really are looking for 3 main things when you're trying to select a pool in order to ensure that you make enough fees to profit. That's volume. If you remember in the beginning, I said volume is king. Volume is the trades coming through that pool. If it's got no trades, you're not earning any fees. The amount of liquidity, TVL, if a pool does not have very much liquidity in it, it's not going to attract very many swaps. And so this is one of the great things. We get into pools together. We put together our TVL and it makes that pool more attractive for swaps to come that way. So you need something like that. And then of course, volatility. The more volatile a token is, the higher those dynamic fees can go and the more you can earn. You don't necessarily always need or want volatility. Maybe you want it to kind of stay a little bit more even, and that's fine if you're looking for things that are more stable. But these are things, especially if you're doing memes, you kind of want to look for these 3 things. Okay. So again, earn enough fees, overcome your losses, and you will win. And then the other way is what we call, quote, positive divergence loss. And it's the easiest way to think of that is the price pumped, and now I am left with only SOL or only USDC or whatever the quote token is, or base token. The quote token. That's, I like SOL. I just want to have only SOL. I don't care about the meme coin. So price pumps. It's all SOL now. I win, right? It's not a loss. I mean, yes, divergent loss still exists here, but this is not a loss. This is a win, okay? And in an ideal world, you get a ton of fees on the way up, right? So that's basically 2 ways to win. All right, so now let's do a tour of the DLMM. And I know we have a lot of great instructors here, and they will tell me if there is a question. So I'm just gonna keep going. Oh. All right. So the DLMM, we have a few more options here. You can sort not just by the 24-hour volume, but you can change to one of these other parameters, such as 30 minutes, so on and so forth. You can filter here and say, only show me verified tokens, or show me things that don't have mint authority, no freeze authority, no, a lot of things. It's all based off a rug check. You can define a few other things such as market caps, pool. There's all kinds of options. I'm not going to go through all of it. There's a ton of stuff, ways to filter these things out. But just going at it raw, this is what it looks like. We will see here at the very top, for example, Sol USDC. We can LP into that. We click this and we get the top set of pools. You can load even more, and we're looking here and we'll see there's all kinds down here. There's tons and tons of pools. There's 102 pools for Sol USDC, and you'll notice that there's a whole bunch that don't have very much TVL in them, and that's probably because it's not a good pool. It's the wrong bin step, it's the wrong fee for that pair. Generally speaking, really established stables, that kind of thing, is going to have a low bin step and a low fee. There's not necessarily as much volatility here. And there's a lot of, it's basically also competition for pools. There's other pools out on the market that are going to try and undercut with a lower fee. So generally speaking, you're going to want to go for one of these. We'll see here, I'm looking at this top one, 10 bin step, 10%, or I'm sorry, not 10%, 0.1%. There's $10 million in here. And in the last 30 minutes, $621,000 have come through it. Let's look at the 24-hour volume on that. And we'll see here's 65 million has passed through off of 10 million of liquidity. So I'm going to go ahead and choose that one. And I actually have some money in here from a position that I created earlier. We'll just go ahead and make another one. But before we do that, we will see here, pools, unlike the dam, there's not a token ratio that it must be. This is just however much people have deposited plus any changes based off of swaps. We can see the liquidity distribution. This is all liquidity in this pool from this price point to that price point. And you can zoom out just to see like what others might be doing. But anyway, we move on. Let's see, you'll see the bin step, the base fee. We have the max fee. On the DLMM, the max is always 10%. That's the most that it can ever be. And that's kind of referring to the dynamic fee, right? The dynamic fee can never be more than 10%. The protocol fee is how much Meteora is taking, and on the DLMM, it's 5% of the dynamic fee. Unlike the DAM, where it's taking 20% of the LP fee, this takes 5% of the dynamic fee. Okay, some of the tools here, we'll talk about these more later, but like here, this is the link to Metlex, and then this is another profit analysis tool by GeekLad. We'll show that later. Links to pool charts. This will take you directly to a chart for this pool or this pair. And then here we see at the top our liquidity, the current price of this pool. It may not be the same for every pool. There can be differences. We'll see our total liquidity and the amount in fees that we've earned, our current balances. If I click this, it'll convert the USDC value to SOL, so you can see that. All right, so let's create a position, okay? There's two ways to do this, and you can do the autofill. If you use autofill and say, give me this much, it will automatically balance that. If we come down here, we can see we've got the spot strategy in place. If we slide this way with it, maybe this way, yeah, it's changing the amount in SOL. We go this way, you see more SOL. So this is the SOL side, this is the USDC side. it's not moving the price, it's moving the, we can see here, minimum price, maximum price, and those percentages. So as we move this, we can see that it's changing the range, if you will. Okay. I'm gonna hit this button to reset that back to normal. Now, a default position in the DLMM is 69 bins. So we see we have here 69 bins. You can change that. Let's say that we only wanted 1% up or down. We can see that that changes the number of bins. You can also do that. Let's say that you wanted to say, just do this many bins. You can totally do it that way. And you can also manually define the price. Some people do that. I don't do that, but you can manually define that price. But I'm going to go higher here. I'm not going to change this any more than that. You'll notice it's now going to require 473 bins to cover this much price range. Okay. There is a maximum of 1,400 bins for any single position in the DLMM. Before I add liquidity here, and I'm actually going to not go that high, we're going to do 5%. You'll notice here that it's telling you how much SOL you need to create a position. Unlike the DAMV1, which uses an LP token to represent your position, and the DAMV2, which uses an NFT, the DLMM operates solely on the blockchain itself. So you have to pay rent on the Solana blockchain to create a position. We're going to click right here. It's telling me how much that's going to cost me. I'm going to hit show cost details, and we'll see one position for 91 bins. That is approximately 0.06 SOL. For anything larger than 69 bins, it's going to cost a little bit extra, but you'll see here that it says it's refundable. So that means when you close your position, you will get that rent back. If you were ever trying to deposit liquidity into a price range that no liquidity in that specific pool has ever existed before, you will have to pay for bin arrays. And it's basically you're paying for the bins to be created on the blockchain. There is a cost of 0.07 SOL per bin array. On brand new pools, you're generally having to create 2 bin arrays. So you're looking at 0.14 SOL for that. And that is not refundable because bin arrays or bins can't be destroyed. They exist forever. You paid for them. For everybody, thank you for your service. That's how it works. So please, please, please pay attention to this, what you're paying for before you deposit. So anyway, I've got my spot position here. I'm going to add liquidity. And there we go. And we see I actually have 2 positions going on here. One is 1.4K and the other one's a whopping 15 cents. So that's, I'm going to create another position, and I'm actually going to uncheck autofill here. And I'm going to put in just a little bit of SOL, and it's one-sided. And all I would have to do at this point, I can define my range, hit add liquidity. I've got a one-sided position. What a lot of people do when they're going one-sided is to go with the bid ask. So the idea here is, let's say that I want to get USDC and I want to sell my SOL for higher prices. So I do it like this. And so up here, I will be buying or selling more of my SOL for USDC. So that's a one-sided position. And again, you can adjust this to however amount that you like, your percentages, and make your deposit. Okay. Cool. Now, up here at the very top, we will see the 24-hour fee over TVL. This is a percentage. This is an estimate of the return that you'll get on this. You do need to kind of take that number with a grain of salt. You will see it on the pools page. I will go back here and show you that really quick. We can see this breakdown of these, and this is not a good example. Let's find a better example. Here you'll see these numbers, right? This is the 24, or this is actually representing 30 minutes, but fee over TVL. This number can change really quickly, and it can be really skewed by people adding or removing liquidity to the pool. Large amounts. So like say a whale came in here and dropped $3 million in this pool, it's going to drop this number down a lot. Let's say, you know, this pool has $1 million in it. Let's say that somebody removed $800,000 out of this pool. This number is going to shoot way up. And so it can be misleading. So you have to be careful when you're looking at these things. Don't just assume that that's the exact amount. But we will see here on my position over time, it's come up with the 24-hour fee over TVL. This is the estimated amount that that position is earning, okay, at this given time. Okay, this number is for everything. It's just the division of TVL over the 24-hour fee. This has to do with my position exactly. This position here had a base layer of spot and some bid ask in it. It's an uneven amounts. Right now, the price of SOL has dropped, so that's where I am on that. But I went well, I wouldn't say I went very wide on it, but I set it up here, 215 bins. That's what we're doing with that one. To show you how you would stack a stack strategy, we've got 0.1 here, added in as spot. And if you wanted to define, like say a percentage of the token, again, you can do that right here. It's got 50%, but let's say that you wanted to do 10% of the token. You can do that. You can hit that, and it will put in that, whatever that amount is, right? But here, I'm going to add some more liquidity into this. Or did it add? I think it failed, actually. Let's try that again. Add liquidity. Okay, there we go. All right, now it's added. There's my new position. Now I'm going to add some more. I'm just going to put in another 0.01. I'm going to hit bid ask. And it's like so. I'll hit add liquidity. And there we go. So we have a stack strategy, a base layer of spot, and some bid ask in there. Okay, cool. On our positions, we will see on the individuals your unclaimed swap fees. These are not compounded into the pools. You can claim the fees anytime you'd like. You can do whatever you want with it. We'll talk more about what to do with these tomorrow. If you have multiple positions, there is a nice little button up here that'll claim all fees for all positions at the same time. Okay, a couple of other functions here on our settings. We can click here. You've got the swap slippage. That is for this swap function, which again, we recommend that you use Jupyter. Just use Jupe. But then there's liquidity slippage. Okay. If you're dealing with something that's very volatile, the price is swinging a lot, it may be hard to deposit into that pool because of liquidity slippage. If you were, say, have 1%, if the price changes more than 1% from the time when you said add liquidity to the time that that transaction actually landed on the blockchain, if it changes more than 1%, the transaction is going to fail. You can up that to help land those to whatever percentage that you'd like, whatever you're willing to accept. A lot of DGens go pretty high with this. Do whatever you want there. But that's a setting that you can do. And I'm going to close that.
Can I just interject really quickly about that?
Yes, sir.
Just to reiterate, liquidity slippage is completely different to your swap slippage that people are used to using or adjusting when they use tools like Jupyter's swap. Liquidity slippage is just how much tolerance you're going to allow the price to move in the bins before it deposits your liquidity into those bins. So it's generally less risky than adjusting a high slippage on a swap tool.
Correct.
It can be confusing because they have the same name, but actually they're completely different things.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to demonstrate withdrawals here, but I want to show you guys something else here really quick. A couple things at the top here. We have at the very top, you'll see priority and cap. Let's click on that. This is transaction fee settings. Okay. The DLMM uses JITO bundles. You can't change that on this. For the DAM, you can use priority fees only, or you can do a mix of JITO and priority fees, or JITO only, but DLMM is JITO only. You can set your priority level to any of these three. I would recommend save money, go with the lowest one that you can get away with. If you're having trouble landing transactions, if it's failing a lot, increase your priority level. We have our fee mode, max cap and exact fee. The max cap, this is the most SOL that you are willing to spend in order for a transaction. It doesn't mean that it's going to spend this much every single time. It just means that's the most it'll spend. So if the network is really busy, lots going on, and it starts to creep up, if it goes above this amount, the transaction will fail. If you set the exact fee, if you use this option, it will spend this amount every single time. You're paying a validator extra money. I've never seen a time whenever I've ever needed to use that. I use my max cap, and frequently I try and set that lower, however much that I can get away with. I don't want to waste my money. Next to that, this little gear icon is some settings. You can select one of these three RPCs. If you happen to have your own custom RPC, you can set that up here. A lot of people don't. And this is just kind of giving you see which one of these is fastest for me right now. If you're having trouble sometimes landing, you may need to change your RPC, and it's as simple as that. Just click the one that you want, and that's it. You can do that. And then there is a notification here. This uses dialects. You would sign with your wallet. It doesn't cost you any money. You just have to sign. And then here you put in your wallet. It'll notify you in the app. It can use Telegram. It can also notify you via email. There's a couple different types of general broadcasts. So it might tell you about, hey, TGE is coming, or if a DLMM position is out of range. It's not going to tell you if it's out of range on the upside or the bottom side. It would just tell you that, hey, this pair is out of range. Go check it, bro. And that's so like here, this particular position is in range, but if it drops down just a little bit, I'm now out of range, and it will complain at me that I'm out of range. And then I stop earning fees. We'll talk about what to do in those situations tomorrow. But now I'm going to show you all the fun ways to withdraw liquidity. I'm going to go with this position down here. We will click on withdraw. Now, at this point, if you just hit withdraw and close position, it's going to pull out all the liquidity, claim all of your fees, close your position, and give you your rent back. That's it. If I was to hit withdraw liquidity, all it would do is pull out this much. It's not going to claim fees. It's not going to close the position. If you want to say remove only a portion of that, of the liquidity in there, you can do that right there. Hit withdraw. You'll notice the close went away because we're not doing 100%. You also have a few preset things, but if you want to define a number, there you go. It's whole numbers only. Now, that's pulling out both tokens. Here, if you want to pull out just one of the tokens, you can totally do that. You say, give me just the soul. It's going to give you all the soul. It may give you a little bit in the other token because there's an amount in that same bin. It's going to pull the entire bin. So that may happen. And then there's another even cooler way is you can go here and you can define a very specific range that you want to pull out. Let's say for whatever reason, I want to preserve my capital. I want to pull out this much of my liquidity. Let's say I want to do 100%. You can do some fraction of that. I can just hit withdraw liquidity, and it's only going to withdraw those bins that I've highlighted. And there we go. I have just that. Okay. And finally, we have something called the zap out to one token. Okay. We check this little button, and here we define which token we want to withdraw to. You can pick one or the other, but what will happen here is if I use this zap out function, it's going to pull, and actually I have to select the range there. It's going to pull all that out, and it's going to convert it to whichever one that I choose here. So it'll basically automatically swap any SOL to USDC here. Okay. And if you click this button auto, you'll see you have a couple of choices. If you want to do the swap via the pool, you could. You can do it via Jupiter. Auto is what I would leave it on because it'll pick the best price for you. Please do pay attention when you're doing this. I have on occasion tried to zap out from a meme, and it zapped me all to a meme because I was not paying attention to what this was set. There is a 250 bin limit on that. Let's see if, yep, I don't have a position that big, but it will withdraw. Only 250 bin, up to 250 bins. So if you have a position larger than that, you can just change the amount that you want to pull as long as it's under 250, and it will get it for you. And I need to pause just for a second here to close my door.
I love this feature and loved when they introduced it. Do you, HMT, do you have a suggestion for optimal settings if there's a ton of traffic, like say 8 days from now? Like if you just absolutely want to zap out, would you set it to, Jupiter only or something like that? Or like, what would you suggest?
I mean, if I'm zapping out, I'm always using auto.
Always auto. Okay.
I've never seen a reason to use one of these. They just give you that flexibility. I mean, I would love to hear from somebody that says, yeah, I always want to swap via the pool, or, oh, I always want to swap via Jupiter. I would love to beat somebody that has a specific reason for choosing one of these. For me, I want the best price. And
Yeah,
this is the best price.
I would probably go with Jupiter because if especially there's a lot of activity in that pool.
Under heavy conditions, yeah.
Yeah, because there could be a lot of liquidity going in and out of that pool, and if a lot of liquidity comes out, you could end up with a lot of slippage in that, or your transaction fails because of your slippage.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you want to be in a pool with high fees, so you earn fees, but you want to swap your own stuff in a pool with low fees, so that
right,
it doesn't
right,
affect you, right?
right.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's a good
Unless
point.
you're just feeling
Chief.
generous for the other LPRs, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
I
that's
mean, you
your
know, if you're
answer,
die hard and
Tennessee,
you want
yeah.
to make sure that no other protocols get your trades, then swap directly in the pool. That's pretty hardcore. And you do have one button up here that will withdraw and close all open positions. It does not zap out. It just closes all the positions, claims all the fees, pulls out all the tokens, and that's that, all with that handy dandy button right there. Let's see. Let me go and find. Oh, I love this here. So we see here, not verified by Jupiter, score 0, 5 warnings. Guys, please pay attention to these things. This token is a total scam. It's not sellable. If you LP into this pool, you will be giving away your soul for free, and it'll get converted into the other token, and you won't be able to sell it, and you're gonna have a bad day. So please pay attention to these warnings that you see out there.
Yeah, you got to remember, Meteora is permissionless, so anyone can create
Yes.
something on it, and they'll often try and. We have seen many occasions of people trying to purposely bait LPers into the wrong pools. So really good practice is to only search with the contact address, never search with the name.
Right. And we'll talk about all that stuff tomorrow on that. But yes, please do all those things. Here's another position that I had, useless soul, and hello, there we go. It's earned a little bit of money. Like here, number of bins 424. If I wanted to zap out of this, you will see that I can't. But if I go and change it, you'll see that now I can zap out. But it's only zapping out this. You can do more if you'd like. But anyway, let's go back to the presentation here because we've got more to cover and 30 minutes to do it.
Easy. You got this.
Yeah. Thank you, Triangle Lex. How to print. Yeah, I love it. Alex likes to come on here and give me a hard time. Okay, so right now this is the day one form. You guys want to scan this now. It is for the bootcamp test. It will earn you the bootcamp trainee. If you pass, you have to answer at least 4 out of the 5 questions correctly on this test. If you do not pass this test, you will not graduate. Even if you complete day 2 successfully, you will not graduate. You have to do both. You have to pass this. This form is going to be open for 1 week after the end of tomorrow's session. So that ends October 23rd, which is TGE Day. Woohoo! It takes some time. I ask for a week to process these forms. I'm pretty fast on it now, and I usually get it done within a day or two, but just give me some time. I will get to it as fast as I can. This role is granted on the Meteora Discord. It is not granted on the LP Army Discord. I issue roles on the Meteora Discord. If you graduate and earn the LP Army private role, that role will get transferred by the one and only Great Triangle Lex to the LP Army Discord. So anyway, really quickly, what is the difference between LP Army Private and LP Army roles? Well, the LP Army Private, that's the role for graduating boot camp. There is no allocation or airdrop or anything like that that you get for this. Your reward was the free education. You feel free to put that on your Tinder profile to maybe impress a date, tell your mom or the kid down the street that used to laugh at you, tell him you're an LP Army Private now, so he can go suck it. And then there's a role called LP Army, and that is given to those who make significant off-chain contributions to our community. It's an honor selected by mods. Let me give you guys a little bit of context here. We have over 16,000 LP Army privates, and we have less than 250 people with the honor of LP Army. So yeah, that's what we do. And I'm going to move on. Just a little bit breakdown here on the roles. We have the team and the LP Army leads. There's 3 of us. It's myself, Alex, aka Triangle X, and Mario. We have the LP Army mods. All the bootcamp instructors that have joined me here today are all mods in our servers. And of course, LP Army Private, and Bootcamp trainee. In our Discords, the Meteora Discord, this is about the product, okay? So if you're having questions about the product itself, issues, suggestions, feedback, our general chat is kind of turned into TG questions. There's also a debates channel in there now. If you are having a problem or a question with the product itself, there's a ticketing system. Mods will not DM you. Please be safe, especially right now. People are always going to be offering you, hey, click the link in my profile, or DM me, or DM you, or they'll try and DM you help. No, open a ticket. That's the best way to avoid getting scammed. And only trust official communications, and verify. And then there's the LP Army Discord. This is the community Discord. This is a great place to find out places or things to LP with, discuss strategies, just general chat, but there's a lot. I cannot possibly go through all the channels out there. We have a fitness channel, and so on and so forth. A lot of great tools and people out there in the community service. And then finally, do you have questions? Join our Discord. I'm going to look here and see if there's anything, any questions here.
Chief
yeah,
did a great job on most of the hard ones, but yeah.
Yeah, there is a warning, and it's basically telling you that you have non-refundable, cost of SOL. So yes, there is a warning, and I believe it changes color to show you, but yeah. What will we be learning tomorrow? So tomorrow is a little bit more advanced. We are going to be talking about safety Thriving in LPing, we'll be talking about tools that you can use, like charting tools. We'll be talking about opportunity finding tools, what to do when you have impermanent loss, what to do with fees, all kinds of great things like that. It's definitely a whole lot more advanced. So today was all about the basics, and tomorrow we get into the real meat of it. So yeah, 100%. There are people who do this as a full-time job. I do not do this as a full-time job, although it feels like a full-time job. But for me, LPing, because I've got a couple minutes here, I'm going to just tell you, LPing has changed my life. I'm able to do awesome stuff because of it that maybe I couldn't have afforded before. Like I've gone on epic vacations, treat my family to the VILP treatment on cruises, or maybe I just bought something awesome. You know, I bought a smoker for about 16 Sol. That was epic. I know of people who they live in countries where, you know, $200 is more than their monthly salary. So they're literally changing their life with that. There's some people who are just like, oh, I'm making some extra scratch or whatever. And then you've got people who are like, I do this full time. So anywhere in between.
Love the conversion to real world asset smoker example. That's nice.
Yeah. For real.
The who was it? Somebody Smiles asked a question that Chief answered really well in the chat, but I just wanted to take the opportunity to bring this around to the difference between LPing and meme coin trading. Like with meme coin trading, people are throwing out massive slippage ranges because they're looking to go 10x. But whereas when you're liquidity providing, you want to pay more attention to this because you're not, you know, these things can really add up if you take a, you know, huge hit when you're entering a position, and you just want to pay more attention. It's a lot different from normal trading, especially trading meme coins. And then for a more detailed technical explanation, Chief did a great job in the chat.
Okay. Well, thank you guys.
Oops, let me get that off there.
The answer to this question is no, we will not be covering that in Bootcamp.
But there will be a bunch of tools tomorrow. So definitely.
There will be. All right. So where can I find today's lesson video? Well, the StreamYard link will work. It will remain on the Meteora X, the LP Army X, and my own X account. And that will be on YouTube. It takes YouTube a couple minutes after a stream ends for it to post the recording. You will find that on Meteora's YouTube channel under live. And these will very soon, likely somewhere near the end of day 2 tomorrow, it will get uploaded to lparmy.com. And that's where we find all past recordings. So, yep. Okay. We hope to change that for you with the education here. And yes, I thank you for that. Thank you. Yeah. And that is not something that I offer. But, you know, I know people who go out and make clips of stuff, but yeah. Okay. So finally, we have here's the Bootcamp resources. Again, if you missed it before, again, Geek Lad's new accumulator tool. It's linked in that. And do you guys think that we need to spin up the Bootcamp, like chat in the Discord after this, or are we solid? Anybody out there have additional questions, you think?
3,600 attendees. Nice.
Yeah, 3,600. Yeah, we still
Seems
have
like
15
folks are
minutes.
ready to. Yeah, seems like folks are ready to tune off. To tune out.
go home.
But yeah, it looks like it from the chat. But
My camera's kind of ragging me here because it got dark. The sunlight from my window is gone.
it looks kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, it's wicked. Spooky here in METOBER.
Yeah, Halloween's coming.
Yep. All right. Well, I think we'll just go ahead and call it here. My boss was calling me a minute ago. My other job. He probably wants something. I have to call him.
How many
Anyway, I might
full-time jobs do you have, HMC?
2 plus 2 part-time jobs,
Nice.
and 2 of those are volunteer. Not idle very much. Okay, guys.
I just checked the bootcamp chat in LP Army, and it also looks like we are good.
All right, cool. All right,
Yeah.
guys. We will exit. We've got a song about TGE that will hopefully hype and pump you for the upcoming METOBER TGE. Thank you all for joining us today. Again, thank you to Auto Geek Lad, Chief, and of course, Photon Magic. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on and helping out today. This was a big one. I appreciate what you guys do. I could not do this by myself. So, thank you, guys. Take care.
GMAT.
GMET.
See you, Matt.